Then notwithstanding the House rules, we suspend discussion on the second reading file and revert back to motions.
Any objection?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, we have two other bills that are time sensitive, and I'd like to move for its placement on the top of the second reading file. The first bill, and I'll do these motions separately. The first bill is 406-32, introduced by Senator Rodriguez. It's an act to expand the authorized programs of the Guam Cancer Trust Fund by amending certain sections of the code. And so I move that this be placed in the top of the second reading file.
Any objection?
And this next bill, also from Senator Rodriguez, Bill 416-32, as substituted by the Committee on Health and Human Services, Health Insurance Reform, Economic Development, and Senior Citizens. And it's an act to add a new article to provide for the development of 1,600 new hotel rooms through the issuance of special qualifying certificates to hotel developers and for other purposes. So I move that this bill be placed on the second item on the second reading file.
Any objection?
And thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. So notwithstanding the House rules, I move that we proceed to the second reading file.
Hearing no objection. We're in second reading file. Top of the second reading file is 406. Senator Rodriguez, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much to our Majority Leader and our colleagues for allowing this to be placed on the session agenda. And of course to you, Mr. Speaker, for reporting this bill out. Bill 406 is an act to expand the authorized programs of the Guam Cancer Trust Fund by amending certain sections of Title 11, Chapter 26. What this is, Mr. Speaker, is that currently we know in statute that 75% of the fund balance of the Guam Cancer Trust Fund go to nonprofit charitable organizations providing cancer screenings, treatment, and support services. And we know that cancer has been a big threat to our people, our island, and that a lot of good people are doing all they can to combat this disease. And so what we're seeing now is that a lot of the cancers that we're catching, people coming in to seek assistance from organizations seeking medical care, they're on their end stages, their final stages. And so what we seek to do with this is be able to do the front end, to combat in the front end, and be able to do outreach and
go ahead. Can we have a little order, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much. To provide more outreach programs and for cancer education and prevention, because we know the number one fight, the strategy is for prevention. And trying to get people to live healthier lifestyles and to really get our community to know how it is to avoid a lot of these cancers that are really preventable. And so what this bill does is that 10% of that 75% could be now used for cancer education and outreach programs. And now that if we're able to do that, what this bill also does is that it expands now also the percentage that could be used from these organizations like Guam Cancer Care, American Cancer Society, and all these other nonprofits that provide cancer services. That with that we would increase it to about 15% for them to use on administrative costs. And we see the work that they're doing. We know, for example, Guam Cancer Care has a program, Kids for Cure, that they inherited from the Strides for Cure, and know that what type of work, what type of exposure they're getting with our young kids in being able to outreach them, to provide education, and to really try to prevent this big problem we're having with cancer, starting from our young folks. And so I ask my colleagues to please give favorable consideration to this measure. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Any other senator wish to be heard on this bill? Any other senator wish to be heard on Bill 406? If not, Senator Rodriguez, do you wish to close or just send it down? Bill 406, on the motion to send to voting file, hearing no objection. Bill 416. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to place Bill 416-32 as substituted by the committee on third reading. Be allowed to briefly discuss the bill.
Any objection? Hearing none.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this legislation really is the work that we've, is a product of the work that we've been working with GIDA officials, with the visitor industry as well. What this does, the first part of this bill, what it does is now put in place a special QC program that would provide an incentive to be in line with the Vision 2020 of the administration, executive branch, in developing about 1,600 hotel rooms for our community. We know that that there's a lot of more potential for visitors to be coming to Guam with the even with the pursuit of the China visa waiver. We know that more rooms are needed, and so what this does here is provide for this incentive by ensuring we have measurable goals in place. Not like how we have our QCs now, where they're really open-ended. You don't know what the exact investment needs to be in order to be able to give these to give the tax breaks that we currently give. What this bill does now is put into place these measurable goals and a formula that now GIDA would be able to use to determine the types of abatements and rebates that we would be providing, and know upfront how much are these investments that would be coming into our community, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the other portion of this bill seeks to establish a abeyance of the QC program for other industries in the event the Guam Economic Development Authority does not come forward and provide a framework as well to this body, to the Guam Legislature, on the other industries that currently have QCs that we're able to provide QCs for. And so we know that all along there's a lot of concern in the community that we may be foregoing a lot of our tax revenues because of unnecessarily having or extending QCs to certain industries that already have matured or really are not in line with the policy that we've set here, or even with the direction the administration would like to take in pursuing economic development on our island. And so we've made an amendment to this from the original bill that was introduced. We're giving at least 60 days for GIDA to be able to come up with these recommendations, these rules that then must come back to the legislature. At that point, we'll have we'll ensure that there's collaboration between the legislative and the executive branch in ensuring that all these industries that we're saying now that we're going to extend qualifying certificates, extend tax waivers is something that will be good for our community and good for our people. And so, again, I ask my colleagues to please support this measure. We know now that with the framework, if this passes, we have the framework of the special QC we have for the 1,600 new hotel rooms. It will be a little bit easier now for GIDA to be able to come together and provide now, or they have this formula and be able to provide now the rules and regs and how to move forward with the other industries that we would like to pursue as a community. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We're going to take a short recess. Legal counsel has some issues that we need to address, and then I'll We're back in session. Senator Rodriguez, have we worked out the issues? All right. Any other senator wish to be heard on the on Bill 416? Any senator wish to be heard on Bill 416? Senator Rodriguez? On the motion to send 416 to the voting file, any objection? Hearing none. Mr. Majority Leader. Can we take a short recess?
The legislature is back in session. Senator Respicio.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that we recess till 4 o'clock so we give the clerks and the legal counsel an opportunity to continue engrossing all these bills that are on the voting file.
Okay, thank you very much. We will recess until 4 this afternoon.